मैच्योर हड़प्पन फेज का ये मतलब नहीं है कि all the places were only urban in character. In fact, a large number of villages were also there. In fact, a large number of town-like small places were also there. And there was a very brisk urban-rural trade. Urban areas, they were heavily dependent upon the rural areas. And whatever the urban areas used to produce, it used to find a way in the rural areas. So even the small village sites, वहाँ के जो लोग थे वो urban areas को visit करते थे, and Harappan sites, they were having a great size and function. And if we talk about some of the very largest settlements, तो उसमें number 1 पे in terms of area मोहनजोदारो आता है, number 2 पे हड़प्पा आता है. मोहनजोदारो 200 हेक्टेयर्स का है, हड़प्पा 150 हेक्टेयर्स का है. एक गनवेरी वाला जगह है 81.5, ये 3rd नंबर पे आता है गनवेरी वाला. वैसी राखी गढ़ी है समवेयर क्लोज टू 80 हेक्टेयर्स है. और ढोलावीरा इन द कच्छ गुजरात, जिसके वाटर कंजर्वेशन सिस्टम पे वी विल डिस्क्राइब इन डिटेल, ढोलावीरा सम 100 हेक्टेयर्स है. लूरेवाला LUREWALA लूरेवाला इन चोलिस्तान वॉज, अभी द हिंदू में करंट अफेयर्स था कि इट मे बी एज बिग एज मोहनजोदारो है. And recently some very large Harappan sites को भी excavate किया गया है. So I would like to read it from the Hindu. धलेवान, एक मनसा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक जगह है धलेवान, about 150 hectares है. गुरनी कलान, हसानपुर, लखमीरवाला and बगलियां दा ठे, all these are some very big Harappan sites. Moderate settlements भी थे somewhere close to 50 hectares. उसमें कालीबंगन का नाम आता है मॉडरेट सेटलमेंट पे, और स्मॉलर सेटलमेंट्स भी थे 5 to 10 हेक्टेयर्स. उसमें आमरी, लोथल, चनहुदारो, ये तीनों दे वर स्मॉलर सेटलमेंट्स. लेकिन कुछ सेटलमेंट्स बहुत छोटे थे. अल्लाह दीनो एक ऐसी जगह है, बहुत छोटी जगह थी वो. कोट दीजी बहुत छोटी जगह थी. और कितना था ये? 1 से 5 हेक्टेयर्स रेंज. तो अर्बन कैरेक्टर डज नॉट मीन्स दैट ऑल द एरियाज आर ऑफ अर्बन कैरेक्टर. But urban character means that there are urban areas, there are town areas, there are villages area, and there is a brisk rural-urban trade, and there is a huge interaction between all of them.
In the southern Afghanistan, there is a place called Mundigak. This place seems to be located on a trade route. There is a very interesting fact about Mundigak which UPSC asks. The inhabitants of Mundigak were using artifacts or the pottery which showed characteristics of Iranian towns on one hand and Harappan towns on another. Because these people were trading with Iran, so some part of their pottery showed Iranian towns and some part of their pottery showed characteristics of Harappan towns. And these people, when the surplus started growing, they started making defensive walls. And they started using some very luxurious pottery on which some very naturalistic, beautiful decorations and designs were made. But these designs are very indigenous, which are found in the Indian subcontinent. Ibex, bull, people, hummed and humpless bull, checkers, nagas or the snakes, and the people leaves were painted. So what is important to us is that the people of entire Baluchistan province, they were using one kind of pottery, and the people of Ghaggar Hakra region in India were using another kind of pottery. But by the time they migrated into mature Harappan phase, their pottery started showing uniform characteristic. In the early period, they were showing different province-wide characteristics, but by the time they became mature, the pottery started showing uniform characteristics. Now we must analyze the geography in order to understand more things. The Harappan civilization covered an enormous area within which there was a great ecological variety. कहीं alluvial plains थे, certain places there were mountains, plateaus and the sea coast. And the resource potential of this area was very rich large, rich enough to generate the food surpluses. The Harappan civilization covered an enormous area within which there was a great ecological variety. Alluvial plains थे खादर के साथ, कहीं mountains थे, कहीं plateaus, कहीं forest, तो कहीं sea coasts. Some areas were having the potential rich enough to generate large food surpluses, and consequently they can support large urbanization. लेकिन कुछ एरियाज इतने सूखे थे कि वहां विलेज बनाना भी आसान नहीं था. Some areas में agriculture was primary occupation, supplemented by animal husbandry and hunting. Other areas में it was only animal husbandry or pastoralism. Riverine civilization were generating large food surpluses. तो river के पास की cities में large chunk of population they were dedicated to some other kind of occupation other than agriculture. Riverine and marine food resources were also tapped. Animal bones have been found which shows that sheep, goat and cattle they were used by them on a very large scale. So subsistence यानी जीवन यापन is closely related to environment, and the nature of human Harappan environment was different in different regions. Scholars generally believe that Harappa, Ghaggar, Mohenjo-daro axis or the triangle represents the heartland or the core region of the Harappan civilization. Most of the Harappan settlements were located within this triangle area. The entire zone is a flat stretch having very fine grade alluvial, which is brought every year by the rivers during the flooding season. Snow melt from the Himalayas and the surplus waters of the monsoon rains bring the flooding pattern in June, July and August of every year. And this creates similar kinds of possibilities of bringing khadar or the best grade of alluvial. So it's a flat alluvial outwash. Otherwise, apart from these river valleys, it's a very inhospitable or a dry country. The periphery is completely dry. There are settlements in those regions of the southern Balochistan near the Makran coast, such as the settlements of the Sutka Ko and Sutka Gandor, which represent the driest part of the hilly Balochistan region. What were Harappans doing in such a dry region? The Sutka Ko and Sutka Gandor dry part were maintained by them as a sea coastal ports from where they used to go for a long distance trade with the Egypt and Mesopotamia. So in those parts where agriculture was not possible, they were settling for the trading contacts. The eastern borderland of the Harappan civilization are represented by such settlements as Bargaon, Manpur and Alamgirpur in UP. Here agriculture is possible in the Ganga Yamuna Doab, but in those times it was having a dense forest. So pastoralism and hunting was done on a very large scale in this Ganga Yamuna Doab, Bargaon, Manpur and Alamgirpur area. The settlements of Daimabad in Maharashtra and Bhagatrao in Gujarat are the southernmost frontier of the Harappans. This Harappan civilization also had a large sea coast in the Gulf of Khambat and the run of Kutch. But there is a unique thing. The Harappans in Gujarat, they were familiar with rice and millet. This rice and millet is not found anywhere else until the later Vedic civilization. But the Harappans in Gujarat, they were familiar. Now, it's a subject of debate that whether this rice was domesticated or it was a wild rice. In Rajasthan and Gujarat, there was another unique thing in their settlement. Their settlements were divided by hundreds of kilometers of deserts and marshes. And these vacant spaces, they were inhabited by other primitive communities with whom they had certain kinds of contacts. But Harappans feared also these primitive Neolithic or Chalcolithic communities, and that is the reason in majority of the towns they used to make a defensive wall. In Harappan period, the fastest means of transport was bullock cart. Iron was unknown, and the use of plough was considered as a revolutionary discovery, because their main subsistence became agriculture only in the mature period. Now there are some very interesting or unique facts. If we analyze them, then they point out to some very interesting thing. So let's do some value addition. A large number of burnt bricks have been discovered at the Harappan sites. To burn the bricks and make them strong, you require large quantities of fuel, which is only possible if you have dense forest with surplus wood. So these people might be living near the forest where they were burning the wood into charcoal and with which they were burning their bricks. Second, some embankments or the gabarbans have been constructed in the Baluchistan area, which suggests that occasionally there was heavier rains. And on the seals we find some very wild animals such as tiger, elephant and the rhinoceros. This tiger, elephant and rhinoceros, they only live in the forest and the grassland type of vegetation. So their geography was including also the forest and the grassland type of vegetation. The elaborate drainage pattern of the cities, they were geared towards water conservation and the rainwater was harvested. Now, given the area covered by the civilization, there were regional variations. Wheat was known to Mohenjo-daro and Harappa along with barley and dates. Barley has been found in large quantity in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Kalibangan. For oil, they were using sesamum. Harappans, sesamum. They were using sesamum for oil. Harappans also had given, Harappa has also given the evidence of watermelon seeds, peas, chana. Chana इस एरिया में आज भी बोया जाता है. And dates, they only survive in the arid regions. Palm dates. The rice, they are found at Harappa, Kalibangan, Lothal and Rangpur, but we are not sure whether it was domesticated or the wild rice. Millets have been found at Harappa, Surkotada and Shortugai. The places are not important, but the names of the crops are important. Wheat, barley, rice, dates, sesamum, watermelon seeds, peas, dates, grapes. Grapes were known to them. Henna, mehendi was known to them. And the cotton was also grown. And the earliest evidence of cotton cultivation comes from Mehergarh. And in Mohenjo-daro, we have discovered a cotton cloth which has survived for so many centuries. Chickpea, green gram, हॉर्स ग्राम, ये सारी ग्राम्स की वैरायटी आज भी पंजाब और हरियाणा में दे आर कल्टिवेटेड ऑन अ लार्ज स्केल. सो हॉर्स ग्राम, ग्रीन ग्राम, चिक पी, फील्ड पी, ग्रास पी, all these were cultivated. There are some evidences of garlic also. Later on in the mature phase, when they became agriculturists, they started cultivating two varieties of wheat. Barley had been frequently found. Leguminous plants have been found. We have already discussed such as peas. At Lothal and Rangpur, rice husk has been found. Cotton has been found we have discovered that. Now the wooden plough has been found at Kalibangan. Wooden plough, हल जिससे हम खेत को जोतते हैं, wooden plough had been found at the Kalibangan, and it's a cross furrow field. Cross furrow, which with widely spaced furrows in one direction and closely spaced furrows in another direction. This kind of cross furrow cultivation is still practiced in this area. The modern cultivator furrows in Punjab and Haryana in such cross area where he grows mustard in one line and where he grows sesamum in another line. So this is called as mixed farming. So Harappans were practicing the mixed farming. And they were growing more than 2 crops annually. And they were growing 2 or more kinds of crops simultaneously. ये क्वेश्चन ऐसे आते हैं, which amongst the sentence following sentences are correct? And they provided the strength to their economy to support the large population. So a large number of people, when they saw that the farmers are growing surplus, they started doing non-agricultural occupation. Kalibangan may we have found a wooden plow, and a terracotta plow had been found at Banwali. Terracotta plow had been found in Banwali. Rabi winter crops were very important because this area is known for very harsh winters. Bahawalpur maybe we have found a terracotta model of a plow. So terracotta model of a plow at Banwali in Haryana. Terracotta model of a plow we have found at Banwali and at Bahawalpur. And a wooden plow has been found at Kalibangan. No actual plow model except at the Kalibangan have survived because they were made of wood, and wood cannot survive for these many millenniums and centuries. Farmers, they also built embankments, and the farmers, they also built the canals for irrigating their land. So irrigation canals have been found at Shortugai. Fair Service has also suggested that very small wells at Allah Dino were some kind of hand pumps which were used for the irrigation purpose. Bones of wild animals have also been found at the Harappan sites.